I fail all the time. I do. I fail all the time. And you know what? I love my life. I have an amazing life. Some people don't experience in their lifetimes the kind of huge risks, huge adventures, massive failures, totally crazy experiences that I've had in my 20s. I fail fast, I fail often. Sometimes I fail big. Sometimes I fail small. But I always fail forward. You want to know what my life looks like? It looks like this. I have cried myself to sleep too many nights to count. But I have also created some incredible experiences for myself. I'm about to turn 30. And as I reflect back on my 20s, the decade that most of you in this room are starting now, the thing that I am most grateful for are my failures. Our 20s are for taking huge risks, for making big, crazy-ass mistakes, for failing, learning, growing. Failing, learning, growing. But they don't teach you this in university, right? We've been taught our whole lives that failure is bad. That we should avoid failure at all costs. We should not make mistakes. It is drummed into us. I think it's pretty safe to say most people in this room would have a pretty negative association with failure. Have you even thought about your attitude towards failure? Who's like right down here with me? 10 out of 10. Failure is awesome. Who's more like down this end? Like filled with anxiety and dread? Yeah. In fact, stand up. Who's down this end? Like, oh my God. Yeah, it's no wonder. You are under so much pressure to succeed. You are under so much pressure to succeed. I want you to think about the last time you failed at something. How recent was it? Did you fail a subject? Yes. Did you fail an exam? Did you fail an assignment? Did you fail in a friendship? Did you fail in a relationship? I want you to think about how that felt. That feeling in the pit of your stomach. That dread, that anxiety. You couldn't possibly face your professor, your teachers, your parents, your friends, hell, strangers. Like the whole world is caving in. You got that feeling? That feeling is awesome. And it's awesome because it can be so powerful. It is these moments when we fail that we acquire knowledge, we acquire strength, we acquire a determination to never feel that way again that you don't feel when you succeed. A life lived without failure is not success. It's mediocrity. Success is failure, failure is success. I want to give you a small glimpse into some of my failures. I am a 2-time university dropout. I am not degree educated. I have started and lost 2 businesses. I have made wrong hiring decisions, which has meant I've had to fire people. I've had to make people redundant. I have been a really bad friend at times. I have failed in friendships. I've failed in relationships. I have been in so much debt that technically I've been bankrupt. Sucks to be me, right? But it's from these failures, those feelings, that I've been able to create some pretty awesome successes too. I have started 3 businesses on 3 different continents. Combined, generated millions in revenues. In June 2008, I was included on the 35 women under 35 most successful women in the UK list. I made headlines on the Sunday Times. Last year in Hong Kong, I was honoured to be included as one of 25 most inspiring young women in Hong Kong. I get asked to speak all over the world. I travel at least 100 days every year. I have visited over 200 cities on 4 continents. Recently spent a month in Liberia. I'm writing a book. I run marathons. And I have 13 years full-time working experience, and I'm 29 years old. It is all about perspective. It is all about your attitude towards failure. I've failed forward. I want to tell you a story just to bring this to life about my journey from hero to zero and back again. This journey of success is failure, failure is success. And it all started on a plane. I want you to imagine this. I was 22 years old, living in London, on a business trip in Hong Kong. Flying back, we had 12 hours, my colleague and I. We were sat there, pissed off with the mediocre people we were working with, sick of working for a big multinational. We had passion, we had an energy. Let's start our own business. We had 12 hours. We had 2 notepads. We wrote down the idea. We had the name, the business model, the plan. We touched down, the plane hit the tarmac. He resigned, I resigned the next day. We were away. I had just turned 23 and I had started my own business in London. The next 2 years were filled with incredible success. We had Virgin, PepsiCo, Merrill Lynch, Tata Steel calling us to work on projects with them. There was a time we were on every headline in every article. Front cover of Management Today, 35 most successful women under 35. It was such an adventure. We were traveling the world, speaking to thousands of people. We were on a mission. We wanted to change the way the world works. We were so successful, or so we thought. And then, bam, we got punched in the face by the global financial crisis. Everything started to fall down around us. We didn't have a sustainable business model. We weren't running the business like we should have been running the business. We hired too many people. We paid them too much. We committed too much to overheads in London, paying for offices behind Topshop in Oxford Circus. It became very clear that actually we were not running the business in the way we should have been running the business. We were failing ourselves. We were failing our team. A very long story short, a few months later, we lost everything. We had to make our team redundant. We had to close down the office. We went from hero to zero. That feeling, that dread, I felt it big time. I was a complete failure. I went from front cover of Management Today to selling my belongings at a car boot sale in Wimbledon. There were some serious low points during that time, those darkest hours. But do you know what? What I learnt during those 4 months was more than I had learnt in the previous 2.5 years. I learnt what I was there to learn. I dusted myself off, I picked myself back up, and I failed forward. And it's from failing forward and learning what I was there to learn is the very reason why I'm standing here today. I came back in a big way. I moved my life to Hong Kong. I had nothing. I had no money, no contacts, but I had the passion. I had the energy. I wanted to change the way the world works in this part of the world. 2.5 years later, we're building an incredible business in this part of the world. We travel, spending most of our time in China, Singapore, Japan, Korea, recently working in Ghana. We work with companies like Standard Chartered, like Ralph Lauren, Cathay Pacific. I'm in such a strong position now because of my failures. I want you all to go out and fail. I want you all to go out and take huge risks, make mistakes. I want you to keep this pattern in your mind. Try something, fail, learn, grow. Try something, fail, learn, grow. If you don't accept that you may fail, you won't push yourself. You won't push your limits. If you don't grow, you will be mediocre. Who wants to be mediocre? Who wakes up every morning, rolls out of bed, looks in the mirror, let's go be mediocre today. If my 20s have looked like this, what do you want yours to look like? If we're sat here in 10 years and you're reflecting back on your 20s, what will yours look like? I've prepared a manifesto for you so you don't suck at life. Why? Because I'm on a mission. There are too many young people in the world today that are filled with fear, filled with anxiety, filled with dread, following dreams that your parents are pushing you towards. Do you know what? Screw your parents. I want to see young people leaving university full of optimism, taking huge risks, pushing the limits, particularly in places like China, Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, Korea, where students are filled with fear and anxiety. It's time that this part of the world was fueling innovation. To do that, we need young people who think that failure is awesome. Number one, every day when we wake up, we either make choices or we make excuses. Listen to the little voices inside your head. Make note of the conversations that you have with yourself. Are you making excuses or are you making choices? Are you making choices to go out and actively seek opportunities to push yourself? Are you making choices about time, not letting time drive you? Are you making excuses about, I don't have the right qualifications, I don't have any money, I don't listen to people around you. Listen to the excuses people make. The difference between successful people and not successful people are those that make choices, not excuses. Don't have a comfort zone. You know that feeling you get when you're totally out of your depth? You think, shit, don't really know what I'm doing here, but, you know, blah. I have that feeling at least 3 times a week, every month, every year for the last 10 years. I'm constantly feeling like, shit, I'm beyond my comfort. I don't even have a comfort zone, but I'm constantly feeling I'm out of my depth. That is when you grow. That is when you learn. Don't have a comfort zone. Give a shit. There are too many people in the world that don't care about anything. You know, you meet someone and they just don't give a shit, and you feel when you leave them you have to go and have a shower. There are too many people in the world with negative attitudes that don't care about anything. If you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Be the most passionate person you know. Find something to believe in. Care about yourself, your attitude, your mindset, your health. I was 23 when I started the first business in London. I knew nothing, but I had such a passion and such a drive that people would listen to me. I will never forget the day the HR director from Virgin phoned me and wanted to work with us. Passion and positivity is infectious. Master the art of giving and receiving feedback. Every single day for the last 10 years, I reflect with people around me and I say, what could we have done better? What could we have improved? When you fail, if you don't learn anything from those failures, you are not failing forward. It takes guts to ask people to constantly criticize you, but you grow. And it's an art to give people feedback. If you see someone who is not doing something to the best of their ability and you don't share it with them to improve them and get them to a better place, shame on you. It is an art to give and receive feedback. Master that art. Fail fast, fail often, and fail forward. Failure is awesome. Thank you.